Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I bet you didn't see this one coming, did you? Well, to be honest with you, neither did I. We're doing the SD60M on Sherman Hill. The train has come with the route since 2016, as has the gas turbine, which, by the way, is all the way down here in the list. You can see there's a whole bunch of gas turbine scenarios, but that's going to require a most proper introduction because there's just a lot of scenarios for it. You can see the Challenger, the big boy, I have stuff for them. You see stuff from scenario packs, which have the UPB, or the, in other case, the SH1.02, which I think is a Gary Dillstail pack, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's his pack. They might both be his packs, actually. I'm not sure. But in any case, you see some scenarios a little higher up here with the GP40. That does not have anything on the regular Sherman Hill route. It's only used in scenario packs. And of course, I already did the Independence here as well, the working Ycon, for example. And there's some E8 scenarios here as well, which are also part of a scenario pack. So yeah, lots of scenario pack stuff here. But what I want to do with the purpose of Sherman Hill right now is to introduce the SD60M. I am going to come back at some point and introduce the big boy. That'll probably take a couple of weeks. There's a lot of scenarios in that pack as well. Same with the Challenger. Then I can have full reign to do the scenario packs on these. So now that I'm reminding myself of all the DLC, at least 4 that I need to introduce on this route, I'm going to make a point of slipping a couple of these in here up through the summer as well. This is one of them. I'm going to try and introduce at least one more prior to the spring if I can, at least to the summer. But needless to say, I'm adding this to a very, very complicated timetable of stuff I need to show off, especially since I want to go to Train Sim World at some point. I may look at Sherman Hill and Train Sim World at some point, but given I was watching that on a Train Sim World stream and pretty much falling asleep watching it, I have a feeling I would do that while driving as well. Hopefully these shorter soundbite scenarios, or shorter bite-sized scenarios, a better way to put it, are going to keep my interest, because these scenarios are both 40-minute scenarios. You can see they are very short compared to the original set of scenarios that came with the route, which I like. So today we're driving an SD60M to Dale after its return from maintenance with the support of 2 engines. Next time we're going to be doing some rescuing of a train from Cheyenne North. That's not our concern for right now. Our job for today is simply to drive the train to the Dale area, and I think we're going to leave it there, and someone else can take it over and do some work with it there. So let's go ahead and get started on this, shall we? Welcome, engineer. You have been tasked with driving this SD60M engine up to Dale. It has just returned from maintenance, and we need to ensure it is running smoothly before running it as usual. You have 2 support engines, just in case. Excellent. Let's go ahead and get this thing running. Our task is simply to go via Laramie, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to head via Laramie. We have a nice slow signal. Let's get the reverse route. We have a nice slow signal out of here, so we're going to take this flashing yellow and make our way forward. We have a long freight train. If this is a test to make sure it is running smoothly, why do we have a long set of freight to go with it? That seems senseless. Oh yeah, we have our radio here. Let's not forget the very, very noisy radio. Looks like we have windows here. Look at that, we can open a window. I've gone ahead and opened a window just for fun. It doesn't sound any different. Maybe it's just me. I also lowered my volume because the North American locals I've determined give you, well, ear problems. They make you deaf. So you might be having a hard time hearing me in relation to this SD60M that we are driving here. We also know there are trains here and there. Notice we have our freight coupling unit up ahead apparently. Taking a zoom ahead, look at the signal. I think we are clear to proceed, so I'm going to assume we are good to go. Based on that, that is another flashing yellow I'm seeing. And that's the coupling unit right there, the freight coupling. It's going to do some reversing over here, and it's coupling to that. So if you just zoom in on him for a second, he's going to couple to that, he's going to take off with it. There he goes. He's going to now do what he needs to do moving forward, probably. Yep, he's coming forward. There you go. He's going to have to wait for us. Notice his headlights are now radiating our cabs, so we're going to zoom in a little bit to not have as much radiation on our person here, on our driver. Meanwhile, we have flashing green. I thought it was a yellow. It's a flashing green. That's moving us to the side here, to the next track to the left. Is that no unit up there? That is a rescue engine. Cool. We're slowly gaining our speed to reach our speed limit of 40 miles per hour. We're going to be going left. You can go left or right on this route, but this route is going to take us left because left is the most likely way to go to Gale for us. The other track is usually for coming the other way. But anyone going to the Buttes is able to go on the right track if directed to. So we've gone by Laramie Main to East. We've gotten our timeliness bonus. I've also picked up an achievement, Union Pacific SD60M engineer. So that only happened after I passed that task. I don't know why it did not happen immediately, but it did not. That seems like one you can get for driving the train for the first time. What do I know? Keeping an eye on the task, it looks like we're going to arrive 40 seconds early on the next task. We are slowly losing time on that, however. Hermosa Main to West is our objective here, so we need to get ourselves to the speed limit and hold the speed limit, because we are losing time very, very close to the speed limit. This is not promising. We are looking at about 16 miles to go to get to Hermosa. Still losing time. We're at 40 miles per hour and we're losing time. That is looking promising, guys. That's looking real promising. We're basically going 2 miles every 3 minutes at this point, so we can do the math as to how long this would take. 2 miles every 3 minutes. So we're looking at about 24 minutes by that math, which is exactly what our numbers seem to be indicating it's going to take us. So we're trying to maintain 40 as much as we can here. There probably will be a spot where we're going to have to drop to 30 for a transfer track. Junction. That is going to ruin my day. Trains coming along. Let's look at who that is. That is the Laramie Freight Service. Of course, a lot of them are freight along this route. That's what we expect on this route. Maintain green signals along along the way here, so we're good to go. Is that train coming to a stop? He is going very, very slowly. Of course, he is entering Laramie, which might be related to that. But it looks like he's almost stopped. He is moving, but he's almost stopped, I think. I don't want to risk speeding at 41, but I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those cases like the Midnight Magnet, where the timing says one thing, but what we are able to do legally says another. So Hermosa is our next objective. Then we're going to get to Dale Junction, Main 1 East. Then we're going to stop at Dale, Main 1. So our stop is almost 20 miles away, but we are going via Hermosa over there, which is 14 miles away. Keeping in mind we go 2 miles every 3 minutes at this speed. We're looking at easily 12, 14 minutes, and that is going to bring us... wait, I'm doing the math wrong. Sorry. I want to go 14 miles. 2 miles every 3 minutes, I said. That's 21 minutes. I believe this is the Farrell area. Now, when I looked this up on the original route, I didn't get any information as to Farrell, so I don't know if it's just a name used by the railway or if there's some other purpose besides what was mentioned in the introduction to this area. I think it's just used to name something in the area, and it doesn't seem to be any kind of community in the area, which is confusing me a little bit as to why it was named as such. Because usually I expect there to be a community there. Maybe there was at one point, the community has kind of moved on after the track was built, maybe? I don't know. Could be one of those pop-up towns that just left its name. Watching for that signal tell me I have to drop to 30. That is not going to be a fun signal for me. So both lines have a green signal. I'm not sure why the other line has a green signal, but it does. just to quickly review, each checkpoint in the scenario is worth 250 points. There are exactly 1,000 points available. We do need to make our stop by noon at Dale, Maine 1. This, of course, assumes everything else is on time, which the second one is looking like it might not be. Dale is about 5 minutes from Hermosa. And stopping at Dale, Maine 1 should not be a major problem since that's only 6 minutes in there. Got to hear the horn and the bell there. Slowly making our way down to 10 miles to go to get to Hermosa. When we get there, that means we got about 15 minutes to go at this speed, or a little bit longer if we need to take the junction at 30, which is very well possible. Maintaining this speed, we would be on time right now. So I hope you had a wonderful holiday and a New Year period. Everything's getting back to normal now, back to work for everyone and everything. And back to normal hours for everything. No more holiday hour nonsense until, you know, Easter. Is when we're actually going to see that, I believe. Maybe the occasional holiday before then. And again, that's for those who celebrate Easter. Those who don't, I'm sure some of them will be working that day to get the extra benefit pay that everyone is entitled to if they're working that day. So we'll see that, I'm sure. But nonetheless, when we have a few months to go, obviously, until that, at least a couple months. I don't know exactly what day off Easter is this year. It changes every year. Sometimes it's in mid to late March, and other times it's about mid-April. It depends on the full moon, I believe, at the spring solstice or something along those lines. And it's based on that in some ways. So, not the discussion point of this video, but nonetheless, it does mean that that's the next time we have to look forward to, where we get to spend time with family and friends in a setting where we all get to have a day off. Or most of us, anyway. Hope you enjoyed the present holiday. Hope you enjoyed all the presents you got for the present holiday. And I myself am getting back into trying to do some more train simulator content, but I'm kind of trying to plan around the fact I want to show off that Polish route right now. That is what is in the Sim Rail game. I'm going to have to get the Sim Rail game to do that. I'm going to have to buy that separately. And showing that off is what's going to be my focus for at least a week, maybe longer. We'll see what kind of stuff is in the game. But I didn't want to start introducing full route, especially an older route, on Train Sim Classic simply because, or even Train Sim World, simply because it would take more than 2 or 3 videos to do that. And I realized this was a 2-video DLC I can pull off. I can skip the introduction scenario. I don't need to show you the introduction. I'm just going to show you these 2 scenarios. That's going to be that, and we can continue. Now, I did take another look back at the Miami to West Palm Beach. It seems I might have only done 5 of the scenarios. I thought I had 6 done, but I seem to only have credit for 5. So I'm going to be now planning for a 3-video series plus an extra one to do the workshop scenario. So I guess that can qualify as a workshop Wednesday. Why not, right? It can qualify as a workshop Wednesday. And we're going to have that at some point coming up. But I wanted to at least get something quick and easy done because I want to spend the last 2 days before the release of SimRail looking at SimRail. Now, as I'm recording this, I have still not recorded any video prior to this for SimRail. I started to for one and then decided to cancel that one and try again because I decided the train drives can actually be done later. And it's better to do those at release. I may record them from the, I may record one from the playtest build prior to release because I have a feeling it's going to be the same general scenario. But anything else besides the tutorial for that, I'm going to wait until release. I'm going to see what kind of stuff is in there. I will be showing off all the content on that as well, and obviously replaying the scenario to see if anything was missed to see in the tutorial. So I will be looking at that again when it releases. I might tape that one before release so you get to see the full scenario. And that is what we're going to introduce the train driving part of the game with. Right now, what I'm going to be looking at on the playtest build is mostly dispatching, because I want to see how the dispatching works. And I've already played some of the dispatching on that game. It is actually addictively fun, especially because you get to communicate with people driving their trains across the map. So you can be sitting in this train right now, and up at Hermosa you can have someone going, "Attention, train coming at me, whatever your train number is, call it 0Z00 because why not? We have traffic ahead of you. We're going to have you hold at Hermosa main siding too, and I'm going to bring out a coffee too because I realize you are thirsty and you need something to drink, or would you prefer water or, you know, a Coke? Not sponsored. Let me know your preference and I will be happy to bring it out too." And basically, you get to hear that kind of fun throughout the game, which is cool. So the route that we're going to be getting and playing at least next week is going to be the Katowice, which is spelled Katowice. The W sounds like a V when you pronounce Polish names. So Katowice, or Katowice, to Warsaw, which is basically Warsaw in English. There is another way to say it in Polish. And I don't have that one down yet, so I'm not going to try. That is what we're going to be doing next week, and I want to include Tuesday and Wednesday to look at the dispatching. I'm going to do some dispatches in different stations here. There's different stations in that route. I'm going to do some dispatching on the main route, which is route number 1. I'm going to do some dispatching on a couple stations on route number 4, which is the high-speed line. I think I might start with high-speed line number 4, because I think that would be a better way to introduce the dispatching fully. So that is what I'm thinking about starting with, because it gives a nice, easy introduction to how the dispatching works. And then I'm going to move into line number 1, particularly around so I keep doing this, Sosovniak Glauni, or Gloni. I'm going to work on pronunciations. I'm working on pronunciation guide, and I'm going to have that handy when I actually play the game. Hopefully I get them mostly right. But that is one of the main stations in the line number 1 route. And I'm looking forward to showing you how that station works, because that is a very, very interesting station in terms of activity. And it'll be interesting to see how the main game treats that. But right now I'm going to be showing you the somewhat simple timetable that the playtest shows. Now, something I found interesting with the playtest is that there is a timetable that's actually an actual timetable from the I believe it's the real timetable from the Polish Railways. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. But assuming it is the real timetable, it means that we're not going to get anything special on the final timetable. I hope it's just one made for the game and that we're going to get updated timetables to go with the full game, so there's more traffic, more things to do, more interest. Because it's going to be a lot more fun if we have more things to do with some of these stations. Some of them are pretty sneaky. You only get 6 trains an hour, and they just go through and do nothing. You just get to sit there 7 minutes of your day doing nothing while trains go through. So we're going to show you some of the simple dispatching activities and some of the more complex dispatching activities as we go. Then we'll get into the real game, and then we're going to drive train. like we usually do. Like I said, I will probably pre-tape that tutorial ahead of time. We're now within 4 miles of Hermosa. If we continue to assume 3 minutes for every 2 miles, that means we'll be there in 6 minutes. That means our ETA is flawed. Or potentially flawed. I shouldn't say it is, but potentially flawed. Or it might be fairly close. So what do we have on the next signal? I'm not 100% sure. I just went ahead and notched the throttle down a second just to make sure we don't speed. I want to see what is up. We have a green signal, I believe that is. So we're going to go ahead and proceed normally. I must have been zoomed in that whole time, didn't even realize it. So now we're getting the full view of the cab again. Welcome back inside the cab. I guess I did that to avoid the sun that was coming in from the headlights behind me earlier. We're fine now. Kind of just loitering on a 25% throttle because I'm trying to do the best I can to maintain speed without having too much fluctuation on it. And 24 or 25 seems to be where you can get a very, very slight gain and then drop to around 20 or so to bring the speed back down 1 or 2 notches before going right back up. And we don't have to do a lot of movement on that. It's slow enough that it's not annoying. So, and I'm at 41 exactly right there, so I need to bring it down, make sure we don't speed. So I'm at 23 now. That seems to be holding me. I'm okay with that. The 0.8 pardon me, this 0.8 uphill grading does continue, I think, almost all the way into Hermosa. Might be a downhill right before Hermosa. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I've been in this area. I don't believe I brought the independent slope to this area, so this will be going right back to the second route I showed you on the channel, being the second route. That was the last time I was in here, right very early in my channel career. I have not been in this area, I don't think, since then. Seeing that ETA constantly going up just brings back the memories of the Midnight Magnet. Not good memories either. 2 miles to go. 3 minutes to go. We will be in Hermosa, Main 2. West. Since we had a green signal, I have no indication of any kind of signal change up ahead. We have not had to worry about changing tracks at all, which I like. That means I'm able to maintain 40 the whole way without having to drop to our 30 speed limit, which would have slowed us down significantly with a train of this length. I'm letting the speed throttle down slightly now because I know I'm going to be on time for my timing at this point, and I kind of don't want to speed into the timing. But at the same time, I do have another 3 miles or so to go here. You can't really see it now because it's off the side, but I'll bring this up, and you'll be able to see that it is indeed 3 more miles, almost 3 miles away. A little more than 3 miles, and then another 2 miles before we get to our actual end point. Just to review, that's what we're driving, the SD60. Number 2254 is the one in our charge today. And you can see it coming along nicely here. Beautiful. And back in the cab. Now 11:47. We are less than a mile from Hermosa. I have not been commenting on the radio because I've got the volume down low enough that I don't have to keep hearing the radio. I can still hear the train very nicely in my headset, but I don't hear the rest of the audio from the radio very much. I just heard a little bit right there. So I must have cut it off at some point, because maybe I just haven't been... Maybe I just accidentally turned it off somehow. So looking ahead, that is a double yellow. We're looking at a potential stop or track change up ahead. We got about 2 miles to go to our next waypoint here, which means we're going to be looking at a 5-minute gap for that waypoint. We're probably going to be down to, yeah, UP 2254 West. You are approaching Hermosa East. We have had reports of tie damage under the switches ahead of you. Reduce speed to 30 miles per hour when you cross the interlocking. Over. Over. I didn't mean to put that on negative. Wow. There we go. We got lots of time for this. I'm just letting the speed go down, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the train back to a neutral setting to finish dropping. I don't see the interlocking up ahead yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring the brakes off when I get down to 32, maybe 31 and a half, somewhere in that range. So we're going to bring that off. Going to put a little throttle on so I can maintain some speed for now. That's actually increasing quite a bit. Let's not do that. We're in our speed limit coming up now. There is the signal to get us down 230. 3/10 of a mile away. We're already down 230. So this is going to work out splendidly for our speed limit. Less than 2.5 miles to go to Dale Junction, Main 1 East. I'm now under a 15% throttle. And still losing speed a little bit, so that's okay. Bump up to 17, see how that does. We are gaining again. There's the red over green for our track change at the junction. This is what I was looking for. We're going on to the left track, interestingly enough. Okay. UK rules, apparently. We're on UK rules right now, guys. That was a bit bumpy. Are my headlights on? No, my headlights weren't on. Whoopsie. Oh, they're on now. Now in the tunnel at Hermosa. Dale Junction's a mile and a half away. We've got 3 minutes. We can apparently go 40 again, but I don't know if I really need to. It looks like based on the timing, I would need to. to put a little bit of extra speed on because that will help us nicely. Now, if we stayed at where we were, it would have taken another 2 minutes to finish that journey to Dale Junction. We would have been getting very, very close. So putting a little speed on is a good idea to give us a little bit of leeway on our final stop. That change back to 40 is easy to miss. There's no sign to go by. You just have to know when the back of your train is finished crossing the junction, which basically means watching that red signal behind you and going on that. I'm bringing the throttle back down to neutral because we are hitting it downhill. I'm going to zoom in and take a peek at the next signal because why not? We have a green, so we're good to go. And I'm getting tooltips galore on my mouse right now. That was not expected. So I'm getting close to 35. That's probably good enough. Let's put a little more speed on just for the sake of it. We're going to be on a downhill anyway, so I don't want to put too much speed on. That'll do. Oh, not moving to the right track here either. There you go. So here's Dale Junction. Actually, we might be taking this path here. This might be costing me some... nope. I thought we would be. Maybe we're not. Dale Junction, main 1 east is straight ahead.
U22254 West. You will need to stop at Dale Main 1 to allow a high priority freight service past you. Over.
Roger. So we've been ordered to stop in 2 miles. That explains why we've been dispatched in this direction. We have till noon to make this stop, so let's just make sure we don't speed in the time being, shall we? We are in a 40, so we're okay to do this. Let's put a little bit of negative power on here now, see if that does anything. It might not do anything. That was not what I was expecting. I guess this kind of brake is not good for this purpose. It's stopping me from gaining speed. It's not really doing anything to slow me down. Okay, this is good. This might be how you maintain speed in this thing. We are learning. This might be how you maintain speed. Oh, we're coming into a 45. We put the brakes on preemptively, but we're coming into a 45. So that was a bit of an oopsie on my part. I did not want to do that yet, so I'm taking the brakes off and hoping I didn't make a mistake. I'm hoping I did not make a big mistake. It'll be easier to come to a stop in any case as long as we didn't let too much air out of our brakes. I only did push it on once, and I'm going to leave it off for the next minute or two, so some air should rebuild from that. I should be okay, I think, for the stop. In worst case scenario, I'll just do my trick on the reverser. I think I'll be okay. If you don't know what trick I'm talking about putting it in a negative like this and pushing against it with the throttle, but it's not something you should be doing. Freight service, there you go. That's what's coming at us. We're now within a mile of our stop. I expect a red signal up ahead here to tell us that we can't go any further. Our speed is slowly dropping, which is good right now. I'm not trying to gain any speed. I would rather have it slow down a little bit. We have a full 3 minutes to make our stop. Freight service is about to finish going by. There goes the last We Will Deliver cars and the last one on the back. Half a mile to go. You can see the stop point up ahead. There is our signal. I'm going to go ahead and use the throttle trick so I don't waste my air brakes. Again, this might not be a correct move, but you know what? For the purpose of the game, it works. Speed is coming down very nicely by doing this. It's a very, very minimal application that's working to reverse my power into the other direction here. I'm going to need some brakes in a moment. Maybe a little extra power. I love how the signal is on my stop point. We're allowed to proceed into the next junction, which is interesting. We're allowed to proceed a little bit, but we do need to stop on this stop point. I'm going to try and treat it as a stop at the signal, which means I'm going to hit the brakes now. So we're treating it as if the signal is red, which we're only seeing half of it now, but we're going to deal with that because that's where it wants us to stop. That's the end of the scenario. Let's look at the train. So we'll wait here for this high priority freight, which we're never going to see, but it is apparently going to be going by, probably on line 2, which is the one that we are not on. And we're going to probably take our place behind that train when we make our way out in, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Congratulations, scenario successfully completed. So, yeah, that should be a very simple 1,000. I thought it wasn't going to be so easy because of the one timing. I thought it was going to make me a little tight, but we had lots of time. I was actually very happy with how that one was done. So the ETA still doesn't work properly in the Hermosa to Laramie area. What can you do? Anyway, let's look at our scoring screen. And nothing else to report here. Just our achievement for being a Union Pacific SD60M engineer. And as you can imagine, and I'm going to bring this up to confirm this, I believe that simply means that you just have driven the train. Let me read it. Driven 1 mile. Oh, driven 1 mile in Union Pacific SD60M. So you have to drive a mile to pull that one off. Well, I had driven a mile, so you know what? I'll take credit for it. In any case, that's that. 1,000 points gained. Another scenario done. We're going to move to the other scenario next time, and then keep an eye out for SimRail right after that, because that's what I'm going to be looking to introduce and see how that game runs. I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to seeing SimRail in full route form and driving some of the trains on there. I've already tried experimenting, and one of them is a lot harder to drive than the ones you see in this game. This is going to be fun, guys. In any case, have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for you, your part of the world, and make sure you tune in next time for the other SD60M scenario where we are going to be rescuing a train from Cheyenne North. I don't have the title right now, and I'm not going to go find it right now, but tune in for it next time. Until then, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.